In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to find the explicit equation of a composition of functions. So if we're taking a look at the first example here, I'm given two functions, f of x and g of x. And I'm going to find and simplify the composition of f of g of x. Okay, so let's start out with that expression here. What's actually happening here is that I'm taking that g function and I'm putting it into the f function. So in other words, I'm going to sum it up with this nice sentence that I have here. In f of x, you're going to replace x with 2x squared minus 3. And that 2x squared minus 3 is your g of x function. Okay, so start with that f of x function. So we're starting with an x right away here. So instead of writing an x, you're going to write out 2x squared minus 3, and then you're going to continue. So plus 2. So this example is quite simple here. Then from here, you're going to go ahead and simplify. So you're going to combine any like terms that we have here. We do have like terms, and that's negative 3 and positive 2. So therefore, f of g of x is equal to 2x squared, negative 3 plus 2, which gives you negative 1. So there's the composition function right there. And so let's actually work on a different example in my next slide here. So here we go. Oh, sorry, not that slide. So here, f of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 1. What we want to do here is determine and simplify the composition of f of x. So this one's a little bit of an odd one, but it's okay. Carry out the same procedure as last time. You're going to take that f function and you're going to put it into essentially itself. Okay? So in other words, I'll sum it up with this nice sentence here. In f of x, you're going to replace x with negative 2x squared plus 1. And that expression is f of x. Okay, so let's start with f of x here. We have a negative 2, and now we have an x. But instead of x, we're going to write out negative 2x squared plus 1. Okay, close your brackets. Don't forget about that squared there. You have to square it, and don't forget about the plus 1. Okay? All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and, of course, simplify. So let's get rid of this squared here. We have negative 2 times negative 2x squared plus 1. And that squared means we're essentially multiplying it by itself twice. So negative 2x squared plus 1. And we're going to add 1. So we're just going to do some simple operations with functions here. Okay, so we have two binomials here. We have to multiply them. So we're going to go ahead and FOIL. Okay, so the first two terms, when I multiply them together, I'm going to have negative 2 up front. Don't want to forget that. We're going to have positive 4x to the power of 4. My outer terms are going to be negative 2x squared. Okay, inner is going to be, sorry about that. Inner is going to be 1 times negative 2x, which is going to be negative 2x squared. And outer is going to be 1 times 1, which gives me just 1. Okay? And we're all adding this to 1. So let's go ahead and distribute this negative 2 out here. So if I distribute that negative 2, what I'm going to end up getting here is negative 8x to the power of 4 plus 4x squared. Okay? Plus 4x squared again, and finally negative 2. All right, and we also have this plus 1. So from here, we're going to go ahead and collect our like terms. So we have a negative x to the power of 4, stays the same. We do have like terms at 4x squared and 4x squared. You put those two together, we're going to get positive 8x squared. And finally, we have negative 2 plus 1, which is going to give me negative 1. All right, so there is my composition function, f of x. Okay, all right, so that concludes the first lesson on finding the composition of functions.